Bhenjee Kaur Khalsa, Bhenjee Sukhjit. Apologies for the late start, but look, we're Punjabi in here at the end of the day, so 5:15 isn't so bad in the scheme of things. 5:20, sorry, isn't so bad in the scheme of things. But Bhenjee Sukhjit's come all the way from West London as well, so it's taken a while to come through the train, and she's sort of battling all the commuter traffic and everything to get here. So we're really grateful that Bhenjee's come all the way down, not just to see us, but she's come for several events in here throughout London. You're in the Midlands as well, are you? Or just, yeah.
Is that what Birmingham is?
Yeah, Birmingham's the Midlands as well, so Bhenjee's in the Midlands as well. So a few months ago, I think all of us, or many of us who are here, would have probably seen the clipping on social media when Bhenjee came on Australia's Got Talent, and just basically a great piece of spoken word, and done exceptionally well there. I mean, you know, the whole of Australia, I think, were talking about you. We were very proud of you down here in the UK as well. And then you got on to the semi-finals.
Yes.
Yeah, so Bhenjee went on to the semi-finals, so she battled the way through the semi-finals, and, you know, it's great exposure for us as Sikhs, and particularly as we didn't know there were many Sikhs in Australia. So we're so used to seeing Sikhs down here in London, it was just refreshing for us to know Sikhs are doing so well in Australia as well. So on behalf of Singh, Sabha, London East and the Sangat of East London as well, thank you for coming down. What Bhenjee's going to do is a surprise, so even I don't know, none of us know, so the stage is hers, and welcome Sukhjit Kaur Khalsa, Bhenjee Kaur Khalsa.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm so sorry for being late. I've never seen like 20 stations on like a route. I come from a place in Perth where there's like 5, and like everyone complains. I live in a place which is really far. It's considered rural, but it's like 25 minutes on a train to get to the city, and that's considered rural. So you can understand, like me coming 2 hours. I've never done that in my life, and I can't believe that this is all London. London is massive. Thank you so much for having me. Accents, you can understand me, no issues. I might chuck some Punjabi in because I want to, but it's not going to be very good. So now today I know you were like, oh, I'm a bit nervous. I don't know what she's going to do. But I want to say one thing before we start, and the first thing is that this is a safe space. So what does a safe space mean? A safe space means that every person in this room is going to agree that anything we discuss and anything that other people share, we need to give them a very safe space to do so. Does that make sense? Yeah. So we're not going to judge them. We're not going to, if someone says something that's very honest and they don't want to share that with anyone else in the world, but they felt safe to say it here, we can't leave that room and blurt it out to the world. Okay? We have to pinky promise. Actually, you know what? Get your pinky promise out and pinky promise the person next to you and say, this is a safe space agreement. Okay, so now we can go to the fun stuff that we've agreed. Do we all agree? Nods? Yes. Actually, we're going to click every time we agree. Is that cool? Can everyone click? Okay. What do the clicks mean? Does anyone really remember what the clicks might mean? What do you think the clicks might mean? Well, I don't know if this clip was on TV or not, but when I first went on stage, I asked the audience, I said, if you feel anything or if you agree with anything I say, I want you to click. Because imagine if people start clapping while you're trying to talk. It's really hard, isn't it? It's really hard for a performer up here or a performer anywhere to get their message across and be heard if someone's clapping or making noises. But if you click, they feel supported and they feel like, yeah, the audience gets me. The audience knows what I'm feeling, and there's a bit of sisterhood, brotherhood kind of thing going on. Yeah. So we know what clicks are now, right? So anything you feel, everyone can totally click. And I've also found another thing. I did my first show, and everyone was really reserved, and I'm so used to Australians being so loud and in people's faces that I was like, please click, please emote, and he's really polite and really quiet, and I was like, no, you do not have to be polite here at all. You can let loose and emote. So I am going to actually, normally I would do a spoken word workshop, but I do understand that that's quite a big thing to do, but does anyone want to, because I've got 2 options. I'm going to make it very casual, very informal. It's just like I'm chilling in your lounge room, drinking your cha, eating all your mataya and your biscuits. What biscuits do people eat here? What's the most famous?
Oreos.
Oreos. Oh my god, I love Oreos. They're so good. We have things called Tim Tams, and everyone's obsessed with Tim. I don't know, have you heard of Tim Tams?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Have you been to Australia?
No, I had a friend over from New Zealand actually who brought lots of different flavours of them.
Oh, cool. Awesome, yeah. So what we're going to do is put your hand up, and you can have a think about this. So either today we're going to spend, how long have we got left? Where's the clock? There it is. So we've got like an hour. Is that, no, that's not Tuesday. Oh, no, yeah, okay, sorry. Oh, yeah, cool. So we've got an hour. Is that right?
Yeah, just over an hour.
Just over an hour. Would you like to spend that time learning what the process is like for me to write a poem, and then we're all going to kind of get into that? Or would you prefer to make this more of a discussion-based kind of session where, I can do some performances, we can ask some questions and share some ideas? So, have we all had a little bit of a think? Thinking. Okay. Put your hand up if you would like to. And also, by the way, I thought I'm not going to put pressure on you guys to write a Shakespeare sonnet. But you're going to obviously get into groups, and I'll make it very easy. It's not going to be that crazy or anything. So would you prefer to write a poem? Put your hand up. No one likes poetry. That's all right. Ravani is poetry. One person. Okay. So, well, clearly we're going to do an informal. I can tell you guys are a bit shy. I understand. That's why I had a backup plan, because I said I don't know. People can be shy. There's going to be different age groups. First of all, who am I? My name is Sukhjit Kaur Khalsa. I'm from Perth, Australia. I've moved to Melbourne about a year ago. I moved out of home, which is a very weird thing, as you all know, as a young little seashell. Yeah. Do you want me to come inside? No. That's all right. I moved to Melbourne, and a lot of people. What's the youngest person here today? 4 years old. And what's the oldest person here today? That's a bit of a question to ask, isn't it? 27. Okay, the oldest person here is 27, and the youngest is 4 years old. That's a great demographic. So you might, I don't know, it's good to have different generations here, because then you'll understand that there's different perspectives when it comes to young Sikh kids following the arts and going out there and doing something very different. But maybe the UK is very different, and maybe in the UK you guys are already doing that. But for Australia, I can count how many. There's like one Sikh rapper, Elfresh Line, Sukhdeep Singh. He also came to the UK last year, and you can count how many people who still passionate about Sikhi and want to pursue the arts. I grew up in a pretty conservative. Conservative is a really bad word. That's a really bad word. But really, a pretty Sikh family, fully Sikh family. They are Amritdhari, and I also have aspirations to take Amrit one day. And they, brought me up as the youngest child with all these cool opportunities. Because when you're the youngest child, put your hand up if you're the baby of the family. Is anyone the baby of the family? And as a baby of the family, you tend to get heaps more attention and heaps more opportunities, and all the siblings are like, oh, that stuff I didn't get to do, that younger sibling gets to do, and I was that younger sibling who got to do all those cool things that the rest of my family unfortunately didn't get to do. So I was a very shy girl at Gurdwara. Even in Perth, from my hometown, they still call me Poonch. That's my nickname, because I was, hiding behind my mum's chutney and would cry if anyone talked to me. I was my mum's tail. If you don't know what Poonch is, I don't know either. They just kept on calling me that. And then I, even though I was quite shy, and then up till year 6 or something, I started one of my primary school teachers. And we're all welcome here. And one of my primary school teachers believed in me, and they were like, oh, wow, you know what? I think you aren't being yourself. And I want you to remember that, because that's going to be a big lesson that we're going to learn today. What is being ourselves? What does that look like? What does it look like to be proud, to be in your own body, and to be a Sikh, and to be hairy, and to be okay with that, and to walk out into the world and know that, the turban that you've been given, the case you've been given, it isn't because, it was going to be a walk in the park, it was going to be some easy life. the Gurus gave us that, in my opinion. I know a lot of people might not agree, but I think the Gurujis gave us that salute because they said, you know what, you can handle it. You can handle the battles that you're going to get. Can everyone click to that? Yes, that's right. It's like we're in a gospel church or something, and we're doing that, but no, we're doing it in our own little way. So, yeah, and feel free, in between, this is very casual. Remember, I'm in your lounge room, you're visualizing, drinking all your cha, and I want you to, if you think of something in between, I want you to blurt it out. Even you don't have to put your hand up, but you can if you want to. If there's anything that you really want to talk about, or a question in between. And in between, I might chuck in a performance or two because it's fun to do that. Is anyone here who, out of the kids, does anyone do drama in school? Yeah, there's a couple of. There's oh wow, cool. There's so many who do drama. And what do you like most about drama? I like how you don't look at me. I don't want to talk to you. If I don't make eye contact, you won't know I'm there. I did that too. You do.
Acting.
You like that? And what do you like to act like different people? Yeah? Do you like to act like daddy sometimes?
No.
No, he doesn't do that. And when I was your age, I started, how old are you? Exactly 5 years old. I actually was so bossy, I would get my older siblings to scribe down plays because I was so obsessed with theatre and writing plays, I didn't even know how to write. And I got them to write these plays for me, and then every Mother's Day and Father's Day and birthday, I would line up the chairs and get the refreshments ready. Is this mic for something? Because I'm probably going to trip. That's all right. We'll just stack it. Just deal with it. Yeah, and then I used to, I was obsessed with writing plays and putting them on for any type of occasion, and have the refreshments ready and make tickets and get people to rip them off and do the whole thing. And it's funny because you forget you do those things, and when people ask you, where does this passion come from? It takes a while for you to realise that, oh my goodness, that passion actually came from somewhere in a very young age. So parents, I urge you to let your children do their thing. Because how on earth are we going to, as young people, grow and learn, everything about life and soak everything up and try everything and have a taste of everything? Otherwise, unless, our parents actually give us that support. I don't actually care, even if, I say something on TV and a million people message me on Facebook and say, oh, I'm going to give you some hate. It doesn't, sometimes all that hate doesn't matter as long as my family support me. And that means a lot to me. So I think that as a young person, it would mean a lot to a young person as well. So now, sorry, put your hand up if you're getting very confused right now. It's not confusing. Are you all I go on tangents and I never I'll start 200 stories today and then you'll never hear the end of them. I'm sorry for that. I'm sure we can do that another time. But I'm going to move on to, the reason I got the whiteboard today, I asked for a whiteboard, was because I wanted to ask, especially the young people here today, because they're our future. And I think it's really interesting to hear perspectives of youth or Sikh youth from every country, because every country has their own way of doing things, but at the end of the day, we're all kind of united. The reason why I haven't felt out of place this whole time, I've been here for 4 days now, and it doesn't feel like I'm, in a foreign place, because I've been surrounded by so many Sikhs that, even when I went to study abroad in Prague, and when I went to study in Prague and we went to Germany for a weekend, I was getting so sick of my Gurdwara friends, and I was like, I just miss home so much, so where do I go? I go to a Gurdwara. And that's when you realise, how migrants might feel. In Australia we call people fobs, and we put people into brackets and categorise them and say, oh, you're a freshie. I think that's what you guys call them here, freshie and all that. And I'm like, you know what? I know how that feels when you go to a new country. Actually, no, I don't know how the full experience feels, but I did understand, I appreciated the fact that why Gurdwaras are so important, and they're the hub no matter where you go around the world. People, when you go to a Macca's around the world, it tastes the same, and you're like, oh, that's a proper, I've been learning all your language skills as well, your slang, that's proper good. So it just sounds so bad when I say it. Oh, my teeth clicked, that's right. So I want to ask you guys, now, I'm going to ask you a couple of questions, and we're going to make a nice little brainstorm. What's a brainstorm? It's when you put one, I'm sure you all know this, put one idea in the middle, and then we're going to make a nice big storm. apparently the night before I was born, there was a massive storm. And then my family tells everyone, they're like, we knew something was coming. We weren't ready for that. But that's all right. Kids are blessings. I like to think I am. Now remember, don't feel shy. I know that's a really hard thing. Don't feel shy. That's a horrible thing to say, but please don't feel shy. Like, I want you to feel like you're just chilling and you're able to share, because this is what it's all about. And it doesn't really work if I'm up here just sharing my heart and my soul, and no one else is either. So, what makes you a core? So all the women out there, all the women and the young girls, I want you to take like 10 seconds, and the first word that comes to your brain, I want you to keep it there, and then I'm not even going to wait for your hands to come up, because I can already tell you're very shy. You're not going to put your hands up. I'm just going to stand here talking to myself. So I'm actually just going to point at you, and I'm going to be that horrible teacher that you hate, that picks on you, and just you can't hide, but you're just going to have to deal with it. So, what makes you a core? So I'm going to put core over here, and by the time I finish writing the last letter of the word core, I want you guys to have something, all the females. What makes you a core? So, how do you know? Because you're wearing the nice fluoro colour. History. Okay. So, and what do you reckon? Someone else can answer this, because I don't want to pick on you. What in history do you have something about history? Confidence. Oh my goodness. And where do you think, is there any females in Sikh history that had that confidence? Is there anyone that can answer that? My Bago. Oh, thank you. Is it not dark enough? It won't be, but it's too small. Thanks, man. Okay, so history. And then someone said confidence. And someone also said, my Bago. Is it P-H-A-G-O? Yep. Right. Okay, perfect. What makes you a core? What's your name? Dia. Dia?
Yeah.
Oh, that's beautiful. What does Dia mean? Light. Okay, so what makes you a core, Dia? Identity. Okay, I like that. You're using such big words. My God, you're all intelligent. I went to a Q&A the other day with Sikhs, and I'm so used to maybe Australians were all just a bit dumb. God, everyone just like coming up with these philosophical things, and I was like, I'm thrown away. So identity, and what do you reckon identity? What's a core's identity? What do you think it is? I know that's a bit of a touchy, but why not? Let's just get in there.
Maybe the way we look.
The way you look, and what? Okay, yeah. So we're gonna say. So we're gonna maybe could we say physical for that? Physical, because identity doesn't just mean physical; it also means something else. And what else? What are the aspects of identity? Hanji.
Bravery.
Bravery. Absolutely. And do you think, and this, I'm not going to actually get you to put your hand up or anything, but do you think that cores in your community, because I can't speak on behalf of your community, I only know my community, but do you think cores are brave in your community? Do you think they're allowed to be brave? They're allowed to be loud, they're allowed to be vocal, they're allowed to be leaders, they're allowed to walk into a committee and actually speak their mind, or take leadership positions. Do you think cores in our communities have that? Do you think? Can you think of someone in your brain right now that is, sorry, what was that?
There are a few of them here in the community.
It's amazing. In Perth, we've only got one, and it's very sad because she's a tokenistic one, and it makes me feel a bit sad. But you've got a couple. That's amazing. And are you guys all from, so this is your hood, right? This is East London. And this is like you grew up here all your life?
Yeah.
Amazing. And how many generations? Because that's another interesting thing I found in the UK, where you'll have a couple of generations, where in Australia, since we're such a young country, we've only got like the first generation kind of experience going on. But yeah. So you guys are first generation? Second or third? Cool. And are you guys mates? I just put you on the spot. You should be have to say yes now. That would be embarrassing. Yeah, you're there now. Cool. So yeah, so we've answered that. I knew I said we wouldn't answer that, but yeah. So some people said there are some females in leadership positions. Now think to your home. A lot of rhetorical questions that I'm going to ask today. Some I'll get you to answer. Some I want you just think about. So think about your home. Whether you're a young girl or you're a mum or you're an auntie or you're newly married, whatever sort of female role you are in your family, I want you to think, do you think that you have the power and maybe the space to speak up if anything's wrong? Are you a decision maker in the house? Are you, do you get to, no, I'm not going to go into that. Yeah. See, I've learnt to filter. That's a great tool that UK has taught me. In Australia, we don't filter. So and then for the males, I want you to think about, you think about the females in your family. Maybe it's your mother, or maybe it's your daughter-in-law, or maybe it's your wife, or maybe it's your daughter. Do you think that she is given the space to make decisions in the house, be vocal in her house? And yeah, I know this is a bit touchy, I know this is a bit weird, but sometimes I think it's a cultural thing that's made us the way we are. Sometimes, I know it's a family-to-family thing. Of course, every family does their own thing and has a right to do their own thing. But when, my eyes were never open to, I used to live in a bubble where I thought Sikhs, we're perfect. We're just amazing humans, and we don't hit women. We don't, we're not hateful. We don't have that hate in us. We've been taught, how to conquer that. So of course we don't have that. But unfortunately, when I moved to Melbourne, I was exposed to all these news reports and all these horrible incidents where core was popping up, and that freaked me out because when I see core, I see all those cool things, and then I start to wonder. Where does that come from? Does it come from a cultural thing? Because I certainly don't think Sikhi tells us to do. Yes.
Comes from attitude.
Comes from attitude. Perfect. So, I'm going to write attitude up there. And tell me more about attitude. What do you think?
I think education plays a big role in that as well.
Education. And how? How can you educate? Sorry, who said that, by the way? It was you, wasn't it? Your friend.
It's from Australia.
It's from Australia. Is it Kathmandu?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought so. Kathmandu does really great stuff. Mountains.
Well.
Oh, she knows. Okay, we'll talk. Everyone knows each other. Mind you.
It depends on the family circumstances
Absolutely.
and how much the women are valued in the family.
Yes, value.
And you may find that two people are working, one of them is a girl, another one's a boy, and yet the boy doesn't have to do anything at home when he comes back from work, but the girl's expected to still pack up on and make tortilla.
Oh, I hear the police, women, I hear the police. We're in 2016, we're working women, and how are we meant to make roti? Well, not me, because I do make roti, but I don't have a husband to take care of, and children to take care of. But yeah, how are you meant to make roti? And, have you seen that ad that India did? It was for washing powder. Hannah?
Ariel.
What's it called again?
Ariel.
Ariel, is that the brand?
Yeah, I think.
Oh, it's such a good ad. Oh my goodness, that was just that just hit it on the spot. And it's great that sometimes India does get it right, but I'm like a bit confused why it's right. And I'm like, oh, why am I supporting this? It's India doing something good for it. Yes, so that's a very important thing to think about. And the reason why you might be like, why is she harping on about cause so much? Well, if you happen to notice, I'm a core. So of course I'm going to harp on about cause. And yeah, I went on TV and harped on about Sikhs, and people are like, why do you have to make everything about Sikh awareness? Why do you have to do every school presentation on Sikh awareness? And I'm like, it's because no one knows who we are in Australia. They think we Afghans. Apparently, in records, for any historian fans, which is probably all of you because you're well read and everyone's so educated there. I'm just ego boosting you. Why not? Just put a little injection of ego boost. I don't think to do that. So in Australia, it was only in the last, I would say, 4 or 5 years that we started doing some research on Sikhs and how long they've actually been in Australia. So all this time we were thinking, nah, mate, they've just been maybe in the last 20, 30, 40 years. But found out over 200 years ago, Sikhs had arrived. So when I did that piece, I said 150 years ago when I did that poem on TV. And since then, we've found out there's Sikhs that have been there as entrepreneurs, as hawkers, as cameleers. And the reason why we didn't know this was because they were called Afghans in records. Anyone who was bearded and dark-skinned and had a turban or like a head wrap, even if it was just like a kind of like a thing, they were called Afghan, because a majority of them were actually Muslim. Not majority, a minority were actually Muslim, but majority were actually Sikh, and we don't even know that. So, you know, when you're having a conversation, I don't know what it's like on public transport here, but I do know that in public transport in Australia, everyone likes to talk to each other, and over here I found I don't want to talk to them. But in public transport, you know, when someone, you know, if you know, as a kid, if I travelled with my dad or my brother or another Sikh male family or friend or anyone, you know, you get the looks and you get the, you know, people, I don't know what it's like here, but people actually are very confronting in Australia, and they will ask you and they will be very curious in a great way as well, because what's the point of just sitting there and having, you know, questions and not actually voicing them? And they'll go, you know, whoa, so where are you from kind of thing, and we're all used to, aren't we? Where are you from? Love that question. And then you go, oh, I'm just from, you know, from Perth, and then no, where are you really from? And then I get my birth certificate out, and then I like pop out, you know, and it's just like, why do we have to do that? And how long will we be continuing to do that? Do you guys have to do that here?
Yes.
Still?
Yes.
Who would have thought? Because you guys have like the most thick accents as well. And then I wonder, when it comes to accents, when I went on the stage and did that piece, my Australian accent was strong. But imagine if I didn't have the accent. Imagine if I had an Indian accent. Would Australians, would everyday Australians, white Australians, take me seriously? I don't think they wouldn't, right? And that's why a lot of Punjabi people have come up to me and they're like, I can't say it properly in Punjabi, but they say, you've given Australians a slap in the face with their own bully. And it's funny because I never thought of it that way, because all this time I'm saying, no, I'm not slapping anyone in the face, I'm just saying how it is. But yeah, how it is for us, how it is for minorities in countries, is not very fun sometimes. And I don't know what it's like when it comes to hate crimes, or if you know, how the reporting system goes, but in Australia, it's very much, you know, we don't even recognise the word hate crime. We don't even recognise that something could be racially or prejudice charged. And that's really sad to think that, you know, I can tell you a very recent example. I don't know if you remember, there was a guy called Singh, about, I would say a month ago. He was on a bus, and he's a young kid, probably like 12 years old. Where's the noise coming from? Oh, I thought someone was like doing Vaheguru, but it's like this like really like deep, like vibration. It was really nice, but then I was also scared. So, and so, what were we talking about? I always forget. Harjeet Singh. My brother's name is also Harjeet Singh. Fun fact. Won't be in a quiz at the end, because you don't need to know that. So, Harjeet Singh, young kid, 11-year-old, is on his way home from school, and there's two, I would say like 18 or 17-year-old kids, or adults, you could say, and they start, you know, taunting him, and they start like, oh, I'm going to knock your turban off, I'm going to knock it, what is that, you towel head? Typical story, we all know what it is. But then, when he apparently, he said, oh, you know, stop doing that, and then they didn't listen, and they kept to do it, so he just got off, but he decided, I'm not going to deal with this, I'm getting off the bus. Went home, told his mum, was a bit traumatised, and a feeling a bit weird, maybe it was the first time someone had ever done that to him, and the sad thing was, that bus was full. That's always the case, isn't it, the bystander effect. That bus is full, so where is the decency in humanity to actually step up and be like, you know what, I don't care what that kid is, if he's Muslim, if he's white, if he's atheist, if he's Sikh, I do not care. I still am going to stand up for him. And that is what I feel, not only does a call mean to me, but what a Sikh means to me. So it is not just about being Sikh aware and telling the world who we are. It's actually saying, you know what, as a Sikh, I actually go out there, and that turban I wear on my head is actually to tell you that, hey, this is a neon sign, and if you ever need any help, I'm here for you. So I think that, you know, what's the point of, what is the point of us, what's the time? Okay, cool. Good. What is the point of not teaching our kids about, like I earlier said, why we wear that turban on our head. And it's not going to be easy. It's not a walk in the park. It's actually standing up for society and, wanting a progressive society where we all can live harmoniously. And I don't care if any, old person comes up to me and says that's very idealistic. That's not possible. I'm sorry, it is very possible, because I think we can make change with our own two hands. And all it takes is an attitude and also the confidence. So when you walk down the road and you think that you need $1 million to make change, or you need to be a politician, or you need to have so much power and status, all you need to do is walk down the street, and next time someone says something to you, just repeat back what they just said. And when they hear what they've said to you, it becomes evident, because a lot of bigots and a lot of racist people, they don't know. They don't know what they're actually saying and the power that those words can have. So I think that we need to start training. Training is a very interesting word, but training our kids. And I hope when I bring up daughters and sons that they're going to know that when you walk out into the world, you are prepared. What does the yard mean? It doesn't mean just ready for a fit, with your kirbans. It's actually a symbol for actually going out there and battling not only your internal self, but actually going out there and saying, I can survive this day, and I know that I've not only earned my money and I've served humanity, but I also am there if anyone needs me. And that's what I think Seva is, and I'm sorry for giving all my opinions. I apologise. I don't mean to be like, it's not the right way. This is just me at 21. I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. I don't know what's going to happen in 5 years. And I'm okay to acknowledge that we are still growing and still learning, but please give your kids, the room to grow. There's no point of, if my parents didn't give me the room to grow, and to, learn things on my own, I honestly would not be standing here right now. I honestly would not have gone on Australia's Got Talent, and I don't think I would have been a Sikh right now. I think I would have not wanted to be a Sikh and thinking it's not cool, or it's not the trendy thing to do, because I was forced out of it. But instead, if you let, it's so much stronger that people will actually, be so strong in themselves and be so proud in themselves if they are given that room to grow. So now we're going to move on to scenes. So, actually no, I want two more. I want at least one more thing for a call. Is there something else that makes you a call? So not just like calls in general, but you specifically. What makes you a call? And courage. I'm going to put that with bravery. Is there anything else that's a bit different to that? One last thing. Bhenjee. Strength. And sorry, someone else just had a hand up. Just scream it out.
Spirituality.
Spirituality. I'm so glad someone said that, because that's what I was trying to get at. You know why? Because sometimes, another gender role thing, sometimes, I don't know what it's like for women in this room, but sometimes I felt like Sikhi is like, religion, let's talk about religion, not even Sikhi. Religion is only for men. And I know that's a really weird thing to say, but then when you look at role models and you look at, I grew up in a house where every Prachadak and every Ruggie, and I was blessed with having that in my house every week. I had a new different person that was travelling through my house, and that was a beautiful experience. But I also only realised recently, these are all males. I was like, oh, who am I meant to look up to? I love doing kirtan, I love, learning violin and doing rag and doing everything, but I can't see my role models, and I don't see any female Prachadiks going around and actually, spreading awareness. Is it because women, this is just rhetorical questions, but is it because women can't be leaders? Is it because, society won't take us seriously, or, is our opinion not worth something? Do you think?
Looking after the kids at home.
That's exactly what I was going to say. And then, someone said that to me, and they said, when you have a, kirtan program, or let's say even a Gurdwara, and most of the time I would whisk off with my mum into the kitchen, and we'd be doing seva, and then what happened to the time where we could meditate, and then a lot of men will come up to me and be like, oh, you can do that too. I'm like, thanks man, appreciate your support. And that's why it's really important when we have discussions of gender equality, it isn't just some female-only club where we're going to sit in the corner and just discuss things on our own and braid our hair and dye the stars together. Because I saw you and I was like, oh, we're not going to say braid our hair. We're going to be everything, diversity. And we're not going to just sit there with our pink suits on. No, we're going to start having gender equality discussions with our brothers and with our fathers and with our uncles and aunties sitting in the same circle. Because how on earth can I do anything without your support? Brother? Sorry, it's a bit like 5 seconds late, that's alright.
I was looking at where you're going to punch me now, right?
Do you guys fist pump here?
Yeah.
Okay, good. I thought that was just like another weird cultural norm that I've just like offended everyone. We just punch people in Australia. Okay, I'm glad is everyone alright? Is everyone alright? Oh, good question.
Does Kaur actually mean princess?
No, apparently it means prince. So I was like, oh yeah, princess, but then I learned it's actually not. It actually means prince.
I'm sorry, I do apologize.
No.
I missed the first 10 minutes.
No, I didn't even say that. So is it a new thing?
I think saying all our girls are princesses is a wonderful thing. Because if you think that your name actually, it gives you that status. It's written that you are a princess.
Yeah.
That's great for self-esteem.
Absolutely.
You know, to know that you are a princess.
So not pink
Yeah.
and blonde.
But
Ooh, I like the controversy. I love when people get a bit. Yeah, but no, it's true. I totally agree with that. You know, royalty. Maybe does anyone actually? Can anyone back me up on the prince thing? Has anyone else read that? No one. Yes. Hanji.
I've heard two meanings, like one means governed, which is virgin or prince.
Yep.
And one is Hawaii, which means virgin or pure.
Yes, absolutely. So I don't know if you all heard that, but the reason why I also used to go around saying, yep, lioness and princess, because that's what I feel like Kaur meant to me. I was like, oh yeah, means I'm a lioness, means I'm a princess. But how, in terms of like using feminine and masculine, you know, if you read Gurdwara and you realize that it's all in, you know, when we're referred to as humans, it's all in the feminine. Is it pronoun? No. Is that what do you call it? Like feminine verb or feminine something? Like, man, words. What are they? I'm supposed to be a spoken word poet. Yeah. So and then Bhenjee is a masculine. So when they actually refer, how do I pronounce? Like, you know when you learn French and you got feminine and masculine.
Call it gender.
Gendered. Yeah. So what it's gendered as, right? Yeah. Cool. Awesome. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. So when it comes to scenes, what makes you a Singh? Is anyone happy in this room right now? Good. Okay, that's very important. We should all stay happy. Okay, so Singh. Any Singhs? Hanji, Chota Singh. Self-defense. Oh yeah. Colour. Is there colours? Where'd the green one go?
Do you want it back?
Yeah, is there more colours? I'll just use green. No, that's fine. I'll just use green. Okay, true. Self-defense. Okay, what's another? You can shout them out. Yeah, one at a time. Don't hit me with all those responses. Whoa, I'm overwhelmed. Come on. Show me how big your Singh is. Are you fully Sikh in this room? I asked you, are you fully Sikh in this room? One person is fully Sikh. Then what on earth are you guys doing here? I'm confused. Are we fully Sikh in this room? Yes. Thank you. Whew. My goodness, I'm the one that's like still recovering from jet lag. I'm the only one who gets a free pass to be tired and sleepy. Everyone else should be. Okay, so self-defense. What else? Sorry. Hello. How are you doing today? No eye contact, Sandy. I like it. What's on your t-shirt? Tell us the slogan. Sun supply. What does it mean? Saint soldier. Exactly. What else? subject. Awesome. Hello, Singh. How you doing, Mrs. Singh? Singh. So did you say that? Oh, you're saying it on behalf. I love how the mothers do it on behalf. It's great. Open the mouth. Talk to me. So, what makes you a Singh? And what is tradition? What was your mum meaning by that? Or can you just speak? Oh, sorry, wrong mum. Sorry, I don't know who you are.
What does it mean?
We're all mothers and fathers and brothers and sisters.
So what we do in our daily lives.
Okay, so is that lifestyle?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Well,
Daily lives?
I think the important thing is when you talk about gender issue and the way that Sikhi is taught,
And
you know, the female gender is given a higher authority than men.
yeah, exactly. And that's what I was trying to refer to when it comes to
So
Gurdwara.
any of these things make up both sing and singing.
You just did what I was just about to do. Just 3 points earlier.
Okay.
Good on you. You're onto it. This is the UKC. They're just like onto it. So sorry, I'm just going to do it right. Daily. You said daily life. And then someone, I'll just put in lifestyle. And, okay, two more. Come on.
Appearance.
Appearance.
Like the term.
I think that's identical. What's another thing? I'm looking at you. That's right. What makes you human? Strength. I think we've already got that. That's alright. You can think of something else. Do you know anything? What makes you a Singh? What makes you?
Don't they sing his name?
Yeah. What do you reckon? When you. No, I'm not going to give you an answer. I want you to think. Have a think. Have a think.
Faith
Have a
and
think.
belief.
Faith and belief and compassion. Faith and belief. And compassion. One last thing though. One last thing from you. Or one maybe collectively.
We've got a hand up at the back.
Oh, hand at the back. Baptism. Cool. Well, do you guys call it initiated here or baptism? Okay, I'll just put both because we don't want to be controversial here. Controversial. Baptism. Initiated. Cool. Do we have one last thing? Because I just really like you guys. I like Casey at the front. Fairness. Amazing. And how do you? I'm going to put up here. Oh, did you say that? Oh. Amazing. Look at that, taking one for the team. Amazing. So what do you do in your life to practice fairness?
I said fairness. Fairness.
Oh, sorry, accents. Oh, I thought fairness, like we're all fair. All fair? No. Oh, fearless. Okay, amazing. Sorry about the accent confusion. Fearless. Okay, cool. So, what you're going to do now is you're gonna go. So you guys are going to get in a group, and it's going to be like you three, and then like you get it with your rows. But like if it's a long row, half the row, so there's like 3 or 4 people in your group. And you're going to get into your group, and it's good. I hope there's like, Bhenjee.
So before we get into the groups, it's your first time in the West, before we get into the groups, obviously focus on that. Do you have any poetry that you can recite back just now?
Bhenjee. Oh, thank you. I like how you're contributing. Sure. See, everyone thinks I'm being sarcastic. I actually mean that. And I think it's just my voice. It just sounds like I'm being really ironic, but I'm not. I mean it. Thank you. Okay, so, sure.
I think it'd be a good way to also, a lot of, I don't know how many people here, if you show of hands, but have heard you on Australia's Got Talent,
Oh, sure.
on YouTube, and I think some of the things that sum up some of the experiences you've had, I think, with a lot of people here. So it might be useful sort of just...
Yeah, sure. Okay, well, let's do a poll. Would you like to hear? There's 3 options. There's 3 poems that you can choose from. First poem is about my experience as an Australian Sikh and racism that I've faced, or males in my community and anyone from a Sikh background, or anyone who has different experiences in Australia. Second option is about being a hairy girl. Third option is, I sold it to you. And the third option is creating change with your own two hands. So, which one will it be? Third. Oh, cool. I like it. Someone said first? Someone said first. Wait, why don't we do two then? We'll do two. Or we'll break them up so you don't get sick of my
Do all three?
Do all three? Okay. But you're not going to get bored. You sure? You sure? You sure, love? Come on. Be proper bored. Don't be proper bored. That's it. That's it.
No, we don't say proper boarding, it's just for...
Oh. Okay, sure. I'll do all three. Why not? It's like dance, big dance. It's like the dad. Just saying. Oh, it's great. Okay, so. Oh, he is a little lion. It's like, you're making little noises. You can be my sound effects. Look, you guys, point to you and just make a noise. If you're not in Australia, where the bloody hell are you? That's actually, you know what, I'm going to start again, because I've realised there are context issues. Because there's a lot of words that you might get, but you might not. So I'm just going to say that there was a campaign, a tourism campaign, where a model, an Australian model called Lara Bingle, and it was in the 90s, and she was walking along the beach with a red bikini, and she's just like, oh, if you're not in Australia, where the bloody hell are you? And that just kind of, reflects that what Australia's like. That's our tourism campaigns. We're quite crude in our humour. So seeing that ad actually inspired this piece, because I was like, whoa, okay, that's a really, it's a really interesting way to sell Australia and make it look really beautiful. And then when you actually arrive, what happens? So if you're not in Australia, where the bloody hell are you? My Aussies, they remember a bingle jingle, inviting the world to mix and mingle, where a fair go was our welcome mat. Unless you're of caramel descent, then ain't nobody got time for that. You see, rocking up for my first job at Tesco was like a scene on a border force. Is it border force here? Was like a scene on border force. Her plastic tag read Dorothy. Glasses corded, she hawked, do you have a visa, honey? Caught in a truck slide, I was a squirrel digging for my MasterCard. Caught in a job interview with a question off guard. She repeated again, this time slowly, so I could follow. We don't want no illegal workers here in Australia, honey. Bravo! What makes you Australian? What makes me Australian? A Southern Cross tattoo or wombat stew crumbled with a Dunkaroo? As if my Aussie passport is temporary or my birthplace a mistake. For all you Dorothys out there, allow me to firmly iterate for those who've come across the seas. With boundless plains to share, with courage let us all combine to advance Australia fair. That's our national anthem. Do you think of a time when Australia's learnt to share and care and dare to wear its heart on its face? Fully aware that most of us in this place are far from fair, but brown and black and slow to attack, but quick to embrace. A warm Australia. A handmade Australia. Not a shooing Australia. When idiots spit a sama at my brother, I'm confused as to why. On Australia Day, when the night sky spews bigot bile, I'm left traumatised. When a teen rips off my uncle's turban, I'm an enraged flame of pain and shame and sorrow. For tomorrow, when a hooning ute throws a rotten peach at my dad and screams, go home, you bloody terrorist. I plead to you, Lara Bingle, where the bloody hell are we? My people, the Sikhs, yeah, we have an identity, just like you and him and her, like Prue and Jim and Fleur. You see this hair? It's long and preened and seen. It stands for me and my choices. You'll see that turban. It belongs there in suburban Melbourne to Perth. It says, hey mate, we're all equal on earth. And Dorothy, if it's really a competition, well maybe I'm more Aussie than you. If Aussie means equality, because that turban, it's noble from start to end. It's worn to defend you, and you, and you, and you. You can trust me, it says. Sikhs and turbans came here in 1860. camels and carts and courageous hearts, and look at the maxi taxi. We're still driving and steering this country, in offices, in hospitals, and even on stage, to advance Australia fair, page by page. So bring on the slurs and curs and scars and burrs. Take it for the team. Bring the racists into high beam. Let them spew their poison in my direction. So another won't have to cop this disaffection. Shut the gate on the hate stage. So when people tell me and my family to go home to where we came from, I reply with a smile, tongue-in-cheek. Mate, we've been right at home for the past 150 years. I'm not the one that's a freak. I'm fully sick. Thank you. Okay, so do we have any, do you want to do a question, and then I'll do a poem, and then questions, and do a poem, or do you want me to do poems, and then questions? What would you like? Poems and questions. Okay, how long have we got? We have 15, 20 minutes. Okay, cool. Where's Barney? Here it is. So when I first did that piece, I thought that, I was like, oh no, that's just Australia specific. I've travelled the world, but I just didn't understand that it's, oh my god, it's such a thing that worldwide Sikhs would actually see on TV, or not on TV, but on YouTube or something. I just never thought that I would be standing here and actually talking to cool London people, and yeah, it's just really surreal, very surreal. And also remember that at the same time, I'm also just the body for this message. I'm just a vehicle for this message. Whoever went on TV, it could have been a Muslim girl, it could have been another Sikh girl, it could have been a Jewish girl, it could have been any other person. But the important thing is that the message is out there, and we're not going to get egotistical about it. Second piece is, one day I was walking, there's actually two stories. This poem is inspired, ooh, I keep on stepping on that, and I keep on thinking it's your toes, and I'm like, oh my goodness, stepping on your toes. I was walking down the street. Put your hand up. Oh, no, didn't. I'm looking else. I was going to ask to put your hand up if you've got hairy legs, but that's just one. Half men just kind of, yeah, that's me. But we've all kind of got hairy legs, but it's just what you want to do with them, and that's fine. With this next piece, I want you to think about that hair on your body, whatever it is, wherever it is. I want you to just have a little moment to have a romantic getaway with that hair and just be like, I love you hair. And, if you want to get a bit personal, touch it, stroke that beard, whatever you want to do. But just get a little intimate with your hair, because it's going to get a bit intimate with hair right now. So I was walking down the street, and there was a car that pulled over. Well, not pulled over, it was at a traffic crossing or whatever, right? And it had all his windows down, and it was a ute. Does that have utes here? People drive utes here? Trucks. Utes are really we call them bogan. Bogan is chav, that's the word. Bogan, that's what we call bogans. So he had tattoos, and he was hooting around with his Lebanese music, and he was yeah. And then he pulls over, and he had a very full car, and he was just oh, you're so disgusting. I was just walking past, feeling really happy that day as well. I still remember that feeling. I was walking down and feeling really good about my life, and then this guy just goes, you're disgusting. And I was whoa. It's been 5 years out of high school, and I haven't heard that for so long. I haven't actually heard someone say that. And I thought I dealt with that. I thought, I'm over that body image and hair and being cool with it. And then I was wow, I didn't know that still happens. I live in an area that is so hipster and so indie, and everyone's vegan and wears henna, and it's just totally oh yes, look at us, we're so hipster. And we've got beards, and every cafe guy has beards, every barista has beards. And then I was wow, I can't believe this is happening in this cool, comfortable place that is my new home. And then I was either I can keep walking down the street. Like I said, when, the reason we've been given a turban and this identity is we can walk out the street, walk down the street and just be oh yeah, that's cool, let me just, shake it off or whatever and just keep walking. Or you can also, maybe, if you feel safe and you feel you have the strength that day, actually have a conversation with someone. So I said, what, today I feel like that day. And I feel having a conversation with this crazy Lebanese man and his car full of idiots. So I walk up to him, and the funny thing is when they see you walking towards them, they're what? I thought I could just get away with that. I thought I could just say whatever I want to a woman and she's just going to accept it. And I was like, no, not this girl. So then I walked up and I was like, sorry that you're the... Sorry you're the Lebanese man. I appreciate it for being the actor. The son John. So no, the actor is back. So I was like, hey mate, well, what do you mean? Why am I disgusting? And he's just like, oh yeah, you know, you just look so much better without it, just saying. I'm like, oh, just saying? Just saying? I don't, you know, I'm sorry, I don't find you very attractive, but I don't go around telling every single person what I think. Well, I do, but I have to filter some things, and, you know, what gives me the right to say that about your body, because it's you're happy with that body, and I'm happy with this body, so why is that a problem? I'm not, these hairs, they've not got knives in them, and they're like razor sharpening your face off. They're just my hairs. I wish they could do that, but they can't, they're just hairs. Touch them. And I literally got my leg in his car, and I said, you touch my hairy legs, it feels like yours, so you need to get this stigma away from your body and feel like it's some foreign object, because it's not a UFO. It is actually quite normal, and I love my hair. And I wish, obviously, you're like, oh, you know, that's so funny, ha, 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 how did she get that confident? But she always been like that. No, of course I haven't been like that. This, like, demure that I'm showing, this is taking like 21 years to be confident, because I worked so hard with the hair thing, and now it's like, okay, cool, I can deal with that. But I want every single human, not just woman, or not just Sikh woman, but every single human to be able to deal with whatever their insecurity is, or whatever their issue is, to have like 100 people line up and say, you're ugly, or you're not worth anything, and still walk out of that experience and say, you know what, I think I'm great, I think I'm pretty good looking, and I think I'm okay with that, that's just your opinion. So I want everyone to grow up to have that.
What was his response?
And then he obviously, like, when I started talking, he absolutely freaked out. Like, his eyes were going crazy, and he was just like, oh, I'm not going to touch you. And then, obviously, the light goes green. My leg's in his thing. And then, my mum would be so proud. And then, obviously, since it was like an intersection, and, like, ladies with prams, and, like, lots of cars, everyone's like, what is going on? And then he was like, no, I have to go. I said, nah. And I stood in front of his car. I said, you're not leaving until you apologise. And I'm like that horrible Nazi teacher that just makes sure there is justice in the world. I was like, nah, I've dealt with people like you all my life, and I never had the strength to actually stand up to them. For some reason, I could stand up to women, but I couldn't stand up to men. I don't know what it was. And now I've had to unlearn that and realise that no, even if it's an Uncle G, even if it's an elder, I'm going to say it very respectfully. Even, you know, if you say it with love, I'm not preaching that, you know, you should go out and just be angry at everyone with no sort of, like, purpose. No, I'm saying do it with structure, do it with articulation, do it with poetry, or definitely do it with love, definitely do it with compassion, because that's what Sikhi is to us, right? That's the core of Sikhi. How are you going to preach that? Anyway, next poem. So we need to get to poems. I'm sorry, I took a lot. And I'm always wary of time because I just don't shut up. So, this poem was inspired by that. And, you know, or even during high school, if there's any other hairy-legged sisters out there in the audience right now, I'm not going to point you out, you might have experienced things as well in sport class or eating your lunch, I don't know, standing in line, standing in public transport, and people go, oh, hairy legs, did you see that, bro? How feral is that chick? Hairiest legs in the world, man. Mr. Speaker, before you categorise me in this referendum called my life, get to know me. You see, from age 0, I was taught Sikhs don't cut their hair. Till age 9, that was fine, but then it was hide that hair. Because your body, honey, is a questionnaire. I thought them white girls weren't born with leg hair. Why wasn't I the feminine displayed in ads, billboards, magazines? I saw models caress their Photoshop legs, exclaiming in voices sweeter than a lotus emerging from their uterus, what beauty feels like. Ew, that is so unhygienic. We aren't living in a stone age, you know. Good luck getting a date with that bush. But hey, girlfriend, what makes a woman? The hours we pretend to blend, the money we spend just to bend and snap for a passing friend. Mate, welcome to the human body. Does nature disgust you? Do these hairs give you nightmares? It's not about whether we're fair or bare or have red hair or eat too many eclairs. It's in the movement, in the action, the way we flow. Beauty feels like standing up to those bullies in the schoolyard. Beauty is loving stretch marks, love handles and cellulite. Beauty is in the perfection and the imperfections. Beauty is fighting cancer, anorexia, suicide, beauty doesn't judge, it doesn't hide. It's in the layers of a Sikh's turban, the folds of a Muslim's hijab. Beauty is brave, educated, free like the ink on your arms may be your way to be you. The strands waving on my body are my beauty, my truth. They're marks of birth, proof of life. Maybe I am born with it. After all, a lioness is a lioness, not a kitten. And my mane will remain my hair. Thanks for dealing with my yapping on. When it comes to this issue, I'm really glad there's a lot of guys in this room because I know you might be feeling a bit weird right now. I'm sorry. I'm not really though. Because I think that this discussion about hair and body hair is, I didn't even know that, even though I grew up in a house where we didn't remove our hair, but I didn't know that a lot of other cores out there, it wasn't really a thing. Like, I can count how many hairy-legged girls there are in Perth. I can actually count, did you just hear that? I can actually count how many hairy-legged girls there are in Perth. So that's why I didn't see myself in media. I didn't see myself in, I didn't see any role models. I didn't see anyone who looked like me or acted like me. So how are we meant to raise girls in this society where they don't even have people that they can look up to and actually be like, oh, I want to be that when I grow up? So I think it's really important for men and brothers and fathers to also acknowledge that it is a struggle. A cause struggle isn't, I totally, why do you think that first poem, why do you think I say it with so much passion? It's because I care about the men in our community. I don't get called Osama bin Laden. I don't get called a terrorist. So why on earth am I doing it? I could go off and be an actress and just run away and do my own little thing. But I do it because I care about you men. I care about the Singhs in our community. Because you're all fathers and brothers and uncles to me. So, equally, we need the males in our community to also acknowledge the struggle of a core and actually be like, you know what? You brought birth into this world. You brought babies and amazing individuals into this world, and you've gone through so much hardship and struggle and sacrifice. So, I'm getting a bit choked up. That's just weird. I'm sorry about that. Just a bit of an emotional girl. And why on earth are you not respecting women? So when, it's funny, I did an interview, or not an interview, I surveyed all my Sikh male friends, and I said, would you marry someone who was hairy? Would you marry someone that wore a dastar? Because I used to also wear a dastar. Would you marry someone who... And then, majority of the people, I said, you have to be 100% honest. I'm not going to share these answers. I'm sharing them with you. Obviously, I'm not going to share your names with anyone. I'm never going to tell anyone. I want you to be 100% honest with me. And they 100% honestly told me, majority of the men, Amritali men, that I look up to are like, you know what, I think it's ugly. I honestly think it's unhygienic. Well, why is it not unhygienic for a male? And why should we be ashamed? So first it's a double standard, right? You're meant to keep the hair, and then you're meant to hide the hair, because you can't go to the beach, and even if you want to show a little inch of, if you're wearing those black tights and a little bit of that inch is showing, and you feel really weird about it, have that husband support you, have that brother support you. Be like, you know what, it looks exactly like yours. Like I said, it feels like yours. It's like you're touching your own leg hair. That's what I tell my brother. It's like you're touching your own leg hair. Love it. Okay. Let's do that last piece. Is everyone all right? I'm sorry if I have hurt anyone. Buntukma, as I like to say after every speech. I'm sorry if I've offended anyone. I'm sorry if you feel like I'm barging in and raining all over your parade. But I said before, I was very scared of speaking my mind. But now I'm not, because I also think it's important to say what you're feeling. Because how on earth can we have good relationships if we aren't honest with each other? And I want to have a relationship with everyone in this room and have a connection, so I have to be honest. Okay, so this last piece. Is it distracting if I move around a lot? Is that weird? Are you alright? Is everyone alright? Okay, cool. This last piece was inspired right after Australia's Got Talent finished. I felt that I got all these amazing, messages, and just like so much love was being chucked my way. And all these compliments, and I was like, don't compliment me. Don't put me on this weird ass pedestal. I want you to take that, whatever that feeling of inspiration with you and actually do something in your life and find your cause. So for this last piece, I want everyone to hold the hand of someone next to you. That's right, I'm corny. Whether you like it or not. And I'm going to be checking my gadgets. And it's all right. It's only, okay, I understand male, female kind of thing. I'm aware. But just find a male. Like, look, there's two males at the back. They can hold hands. Or this one, or something. You need to be touching another human for this last piece. I know you males, you're like, oh, why do we want to touch? Oh, hey, 2016. Get over it. Right, pinky. Look at it. Indians hold pinkies all the time. Indian men walk around the streets holding pinkies and touching each other. Get over it. We should be able to touch each other. So, I want you to be having a human, you have to be holding someone's hand, and I want you to be closing your eyes for this poem. Okay? So everyone has to close their eyes for this poem, and I'm going to take you on a bit of a journey of my feelings. So, is everyone close their eyes? No, they haven't. Everyone close their eyes. And then, yeah, some people are like, oh, but the porn. I'm going to take the video over Guys' Claws.
We've got that sorted, don't we?
We got that sorted. That's exactly what Bhenjee said. So, everyone, close your eyes. He's like, no, I don't want to. You're weird. Get me out of here. I'm a celebrity. Okay, that's all right. I want you, close your eyes and holding someone's hand. And this poem was inspired by a song, which some people might know. And I remember listening to it when I was a kid, and it was like, we can change the world with our own two hands, make it a brighter place with our own two hands, with our own two hands up. If you watch the news every night and can't decide on fight or flight or might is right, hands up, everybody, and wave them in the air like you just care. He told me, my bro, leave this earth better than at your birth when you go. So I look at these hands, two brown hands. One day I heard my mum say, my name's Sukhjit. It means winner of peace. So I thought I had to be a political feature, a spiritual preacher, anything but this hairy-legged creature. But then I saw the hands. My big sister said to me, hold my hand, band, baby, and look with me. When you gaze at this country, what do you see? Do you see stats or spirits, boundless plains or borders? When you look at the stars, do you see Southern Crosses or Seven Sisters? My hands have hope. So don't protect me from the world, Papa. My hands like yours are for working, Papa. Come build with me an empire of empathy. Friends, hold my hand and walk the streets with me. Do you see the superheroes? Every day, white, black and grey, curly and straight, giving their time of day, helping me on my way, teaching their kids like I'll teach mine to tend and mend and spend the time on another. Because a stranger is not always danger. So wave those hands, wave hello. Shake those hands, shake them off, yo. Use those hands to touch, not type or like or emoji wink. You're all right. You'll feel the love and compassion no text can provide. Take a stand, hands, they're yours. I might be the wordsmith, but with your applause, action is poetry and find your cause. Join this girl from Perth on a mission to leave this earth better than we found it at our birth. Thank you so much for having me. Have we got time for questions, or do you reckon that's a couple of questions? Any burning desires into my soul? I'm an open book. You can ask me anything. If anyone feels like anything.
I wanted to ask a question about how did you make the transition from like being the shy girl to what you are now?
I didn't finish that story I was telling. But my teacher, he saw some potential and he was like, I'm going to push you to do drama and public speaking. And I was so mortified. I said, I hate you. Why would you make me do something like that? I don't want attention. And then I found through drama, I could be whoever I wanted to be. And at that time, during, pre-teens or whatever, I didn't want to be Sukhjit. I didn't want to be me. I didn't want to be the weirdo, the only brown girl in the school, the hairy girl, and just being an outsider. So through acting, I found myself. I know that's a really weird thing to say, but even when it comes to like the hairy leg thing, obviously there was a journey, like we can go in depth about it, but I think the last thing that really put the cherry on the top was in year 12, when I was head girl. I was still getting bullied, and I found it really weird, because I was like, oh, I'm head girl, I'm doing speeches in front of everyone, and I'm not getting respected by this certain group of boys, and that's really upsetting. I feel like I want to leave my mark, but what's happening is these older boys, they're teaching the younger boys that it's okay to do that. It's okay to not respect each other, and I found sometimes people might be like, oh, it was racial. I don't know what it was. I think it was just difference. I don't even think I could pinpoint if it was a gender or hairy. It was actually just someone being different, and sometimes people get intimidated by that. And then actually standing up to them showed me that I was actually, trying to please everyone in the world, but I wasn't pleasing myself. And I realised that why, sometimes girls who go through a phase where they want to shave their legs, and I feel like I didn't want to go to school for like 3 or 4 weeks, because I was like, oh my God, the first time someone actually said, oh my God, you've got hairy legs, I was like, what? I didn't know I had that. It's like someone saying, oh, you've actually got eyes. And I'm like, oh, I didn't know I had eyes. And I was like, what? I have hairy legs? I didn't even know that. I seriously thought, like, everyone's like this, but they're not. And then I was like mortified, and like my family didn't know how to deal with it, because I think even though I had older siblings and an older sister, I think she just went through life just hiding it and being okay with just doing that. But me, as a little kangaroo in the family, who just like was born in Perth and brought up with a lot of Western values, I guess, or upbringing, that really has been the reason why I was never settling for just like, I just didn't want to look back on high school and say that that was a really bad time. I wanted to look back on high school and be like, you know what? I think I'm really happy with all those memories. I'm glad everything happened. And I'm so happy I got bullied. Oh my God, so happy. If I didn't get bullied, I wouldn't have known my own worth and known that I'm actually so happy with how I am now. So I think that if I had one thing to say to people in school right now, and you feel like sometimes you're different, or sometimes, people don't get you, know that it's going to pass. Know that it's just so temporary, and it's so like, things like that are cool now aren't going to be cool in 5 years, and things that are weird now aren't going to be weird in 5 years. So look at now, everyone's hairy. Beards like are in fashion right now. Is that a thing in the UK, in Australia? Yeah, right? Everyone's got beards, and you're like, oh, nice, Sikhs invented that. Sikhs were cool. So yeah, sorry, I don't know if that, there's a very long answer to that I could have given you, but because of time, we can Facebook me, and then we can talk about it.
There's a young man there.
Angie.
How did you get on Britain's Got Talent?
Well, you can tell me how to do that.
Australia's Got Talent.
Australia's Got Talent. So you have to audition. So you go through maybe like 4 auditions, and then you get on TV, and then you get 2 minutes to say or perform or sing or dance or do whatever your talent is, and you do it in front of the 4 judges, and then if they like you, they say you're going through the next round. And then I got through the next round, and I did another performance, and then from that performance, the public had to vote, and then the public had to say, oh, we like her or we don't, and they didn't like me. So I didn't get through the next round, and there was a grand final, and then the show's over now. So it was a very short span of a show, but it was good. It was a good experience. Thank you, Smiley face.
How can the children learn spoken word poetry?
Oh, yeah, sure. Well, I think that people have this misconception that spoken word poetry is like this new, like cool, like hipster, I don't know, like underground thing. But it's actually, if you look at Indigenous cultures all over the world, Native Americans, my own with Australia, the Indigenous people of our land, storytelling was a very big part of culture and a big part of their heritage. And I feel that even with Sikhi, if you look at any sort of text, any sort of shabad that you pick up, and you're like, oh, the first, you might have learnt this shabad when you were like really young, and then now you'll read it, and you'll be like, whoa, that meaning is so different to me now. And that's because with poetry, there's lots of language devices and lots of cool things that you can do to create meaning, and that's why you appreciate them more and more the more you read them, and different types to read them. But I didn't answer your question. And your question was, how can kids do it? Well, I think there's actually, I can put you in touch with, I met a girl called Jaspreet Kaur in the UK, and she's one of many, I'm sure, spoken word workshop facilitators. So that's what I do as a job now, in Australia, and we do workshops with anyone. I go to schools, or we do specific ones in libraries or school holiday programs. And I think some curriculum, there's actually some states in Australia, I know, I'm sure in the UK too, where they've actually started teaching it in schools. And spoken word poetry is anything you want it to be. It isn't just like boring Shakespeare stuff. It can be anything. Like I said, a lot of social justice and political issues came out in that poetry that you heard. It can anything that is spoken out loud. Even, when I feel like when I'm doing Heathen, when I read out the Shabbat, that's, for me, is spoken word poetry. So it can be whatever you want it to be, and anyone can do it. And you can, contact me on Facebook if you want me to, give you contacts or people here that do that. Sorry, very bad. How much time? One more? Yeah. One more? Cool, Bhenjee.
Can I start by apologising? Because you said not to compliment you, but I have to compliment you.
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely. Inspiring and fearless and a very humble speech.
I'm like out of breath.
I've been blessed by 3 princesses. I've got 3 sons. I'm sure they've appreciated what you said. But I have got a question.
Yeah.
Is it possible that since that first Vaisakhi, 1699, where our Guru made it clear that we should have an identity with long hair, is it possible that over a period of time, that initial message of an identity of somebody with long hair and a beard has got distorted a little bit to the point where to take a hair off the body is a crime and you should feel guilty about it? Is it possible that there's been some misunderstanding?
Yeah, sure. Okay, well, I'm going to try to answer this to the best of my ability, and I probably won't get the answer that you want, but I think that a lot of people keep their hair for different reasons, and when I went through my own journey of researching hair, I first kept it because it was a family thing, and if your family's brought you up to do a certain thing and a certain practice, just like, I don't know, your dietary needs or what your routine's like, I think that hair was just like a thing that was there. But then it turned into a thing that I hated. Then it turned into a thing that I was like, oh my goodness, get it off me. This is weird and ugly, because you see society looking different to you and you want to be like society. But then you look at the Guru's time, and that was the exact same thing. Not in like the hair, well, maybe in the hair sense, but also in the ideology sense, where society 500 years ago had very different views on how to live, what a lifestyle meant, how to treat women, how to treat other humans with respect and equality. So I think that when it comes to crime and guilt and words like that, I think that everyone needs to come to their own sort of understanding and research and conclusion from their own experiences and learning about other people's experiences to actually answer that question. I don't think it's something that I can tell someone else what to do, because it's not my job. I'm not a pracharak and I'm not a preacher. I just want to shake the pot and make people think about and question everything. I think that's what a lot of people, from any sort of faith come from. They tend to, and that's what Guru Nanak Dev Ji did, didn't he? Like, he questioned everything, and he was like, and we forget the rebelliousness of that. We forget the revolutionary aspect. You look at Jesus Christ, you look at any sort of spiritual leader, they were revolutionaries for a reason, and it's because they were shaking the system. So when it comes to, I learned that some people believe in keeping hair because of spiritual purposes. They believe that every hair has spiritual energy in it, and the reason why you comb it up and put in a top knot is because you believe that, some people believe that in the Gurdwara, some people believe in if you did Kundalini practices, and then when it comes to practical reasons, well, sometimes people would tell me, oh, it's really unhygienic to have armpit hair, it's so smelly. Well, I actually found out that it stores in whatever that, not chemical, but whatever that thing is. What is it called?
No, is it hormones and stuff?
Yeah, pheromones, yeah. That store that stuff. And, I found a change in my body when I actually shaved my legs in high school. And I didn't know I was going to tell you guys this, but I am now, because it's good to be honest. I shaved my legs in high school, and I experimented, and I felt that my attitude and my body was angry. And I felt that there was something so off balance for like so long, and I couldn't figure out what it was. And I realised it's because the little hairs that I was talking about before, they were so sad. And I was like, oh man, why am I pleasing society? Like, I love going for runs and feeling the wind through each hair. I love that feeling. So I think it's about finding your own love for your body. And it could be hair for some people, it could be something else for someone, and it could be anything when it comes to, the traditional stuff that British tell us about the, the meat and the drinking and the drugs and the hair and all that jazz. But to be honest, I think that everyone needs to figure this out on their own with the Guru Granth Sahib Ji. I don't think any human has the answers. It's actually all in the Guruji. And if we read it, that's our personal direct phone. You dial a phone, you're like, hey Vagaji, how you going, mate? I really want to talk to you because I'm feeling a bit weird today. I'm feeling really happy today. I really want to know this. Have a chat. You don't need any weird middleman or woman.
The only thing I was going to say in response to your question, where we started our discussion was around equality, what makes us a Singh, what makes us a Kaur. Everyone has come out with the word identity.
Yeah.
Now, so to answer your question, if identity is key in being a Singh and a Kaur, then the Sarup that the Guruji has given us are the star, our hair, and everything else that we've been talked about.
Yeah.
The bit I miss, and the bit I don't understand is how is that message distorted, because we're all here in unison saying identity is what drives the seed. Everything else that comes with Sikhi, the spirituality, that's your own.
Yeah.
But the one thing that gurus have made common for us all is identity.
Yeah.
So the bit that I can't follow is where that message is distorted.
Yeah.
Now, I don't have the answer. You don't have the answer. My brothers and sisters here don't have the answer. Only Guruji has the answer.
Yeah.
But if we go back to history, if we look at identity, then identity for me is uniform.
Yeah.
So I can't see that message is distorted. That's my personal view.
Yeah, cool. Thanks for sharing, man. That's all what it's about. And it's about, anytime you have these conversations, I know every Gurdwara has their own conversations with these issues, and I think that it's really important to everyone has a right to that opinion, whatever opinion that may be, but also to let people voice their opinion and let that space, because it is all about growth, and we can't really judge what, my whole philosophy is that when I do spoken word workshops, I actually get all my kids to take off their shoes and we sit down in a circle and we actually talk about our vulnerabilities and the worst things someone has ever called us. And the reason why I do that is because sometimes we actually don't know what we've all been through, and the reason why I let them to take their shoes off is because how on earth are you meant to step into someone else's shoes if you've got your own shoes on, if you've got your own filters on, if you've got your own judgments on. So I think it's really important that I do not believe in judgment. That's why when I said today, it's a judgment-free zone, and everyone's free to say that. And it's totally cool, and we should all do what is right for us and what we need to do. And yeah, if I had to personally say my opinion, yeah, of course my identity is important to me, because it's who I am. But with my hairy leg journey or my body hair journey, it's been about, like I said, it went through phases, and the first phase was because it was just there, and then it was like I hated it, and then I was like, oh, I love it, and then now it's just there, and it's honestly just like having a nose or just like having something a part of you. And you realize in history, for women especially, it was only in the 1920s that Gillette, the shaving company, actually came out and was like, who are we going to target? The most marginalised group in society, women. They'll believe anything we say. So if we get them to buy this product and say you're going to be ugly if you don't buy it. And we started showing more skin in the 1920s, skirts started getting higher, armpit hair started showing. So that's why there was a need for that. And it's just a trend. To be honest, that was like 80, 90, 100 years ago, and things keep on changing. So I think that when it comes to these things, you always have to understand, I think I have to understand, so there's like me talking aloud, is that all this is going to pass. I could die tomorrow, you could die tomorrow, we could all die tomorrow. And what actually matters at the end of the day to you? What are you willing to do for your guru? Anyways, sorry once again if I've offended anyone. Is that cool? Should we wrap it up? Cool, okay, thank you so much, honey.
Bhenjee, on behalf of the Gurdwara, I think on the Sangat as well, thank you for that, and thank you for coming down. I mean, on behalf of the Gurdwara, we did do something that we don't normally do. So, apologies if anyone was offended. I don't think anyone was offended anyway. I'm hoping no one was anyway. It was a frank discussion. Bhenjee sharing her experiences in a very bold way, and such a good way of overcoming insecurities and challenges is a way spoken word and poetry and other ways of expressing ourselves is one way of overcoming those challenges. And I think what you've shown us in terms of society and overcoming those challenges through spoken word and through going out there and just representing yourself, I think that's inspirational for all of us. And we face the same challenges every day. I might be 40 years old, but I face challenges every single day. So do children at school. So and Sikh is about that. Sikh is about overcoming challenges and trying to deal with them. And it was never meant to be an easy ride.
No.
It was never meant to be an easy ride. It was always going to be complex. And the Gurus say it as well in Gurbani, how complicated it is. Even the Gurus talk about how they had to go through their ups and downs. So Bhenjee, it's been inspiring, and on behalf of the Gurdwara again, and on behalf of the Sangha, thank you very much for coming down.